Hello students, how are you all? In last class you learned classroom teaching exercise questions of states or matter. Today we have the continuation topic classroom teaching exercise questions of states or matter. In that next question number 40. Look at the question number 40. Hydrogen diffuses 6 times faster than gas. The molar mass of gas is so first I am taking the rate of diffusion of unknown gas as R gas is equal to, I am labeling it as R. The rate of diffusion of unknown gas is labeled as R. And the rate of diffusion of hydrogen gas. This is 6R. Look at the statement. Hydrogen diffuses 6 times faster than gas. So rate of diffusion of gas is R. Then rate of diffusion of hydrogen gas becomes 6R. Next, molar mass of unknown gas. Molar mass of unknown gas we have to calculate. We have to calculate molar mass of unknown gas. Next, molar mass of hydrogen gas. Molar mass of hydrogen gas is how much? 2 gram per mole. 2 gram per mole. So, we have to calculate molar mass of unknown gas. What is the formula? Rate of diffusion of gas by rate of diffusion of hydrogen. That is equal to square root of molar mass of H2 by molar mass of gas. So, this is the formula we have to use. So actual form, general formula is R1 by R2 is equal to square root of M2 by M1. So this is the general formula we will use. R1 by R2 is equal to square root of M2 by M1. So here in the place of R1 I took rate of diffusion of gas, in the place of R2 I took rate of diffusion of hydrogen. So M2 is nothing but molar mass of hydrogen, M1 is nothing but mass of gas. So substitute the what is given. So rate of diffusion of unknown gas, what is given? R. So R by rate of diffusion of hydrogen, how much? 6R. So R by 6R, that is equal to molar mass of hydrogen, how much? 2 grams. 2 by molar mass of unknown gas, we have to calculate. Molar mass of gas, we have to calculate. So here R will get cancelled. Then get 1 by 6. 1 by 6 is equal to 2 by M, square root of 2 by M. So squaring on both sides, then get this will be 1 by 6 square. 1 by 6 square is equal to 2 by molar mass of gas, isn't it? So we have to calculate molar mass of gas. So molar mass of gas is equal to 36. 36 into 2, isn't it? So molar mass of gas is equal to 72. So 36 into is equal to 72 gram per mole. So this is the final answer. Molar mass of gas is equal to 72 gram per mole. Look at the options. So first option 72 is there. For the 40th question, first option is the correct. 72 gram per mole. So question number 40, first option is correct. Next question number 41. Look at the question number 41. According to Graham's law, at a given temperature, the ratio of rates of diffusion RA by RB of gases A and B is given by. So taking two gases, gas A and gas B. There are two gases. So the rate of diffusion of two gases RA by RB is given. So then what the formula we have is when two different gases is given, R1 by R2 is equal to pressure is given, then P1 by P2 into square root of molar mass of second gas by molar mass of first gas. So this is the formula we have to use. So here is R1. In the place of R1 taking RA. So RA by RB. RA by RB. Second gas is B gas. So RA by RB is equal to P1 by P2. That means PA by PB. First gas is nothing but A. Second gas is B. PA by PB into square root of MB by MA. MB by MA. So the same equation can be represented as RA by RB is equal to PA by PB into MB by MA power 100. So like this also we can represent. So for the question number 41, look at the options. So third option. So PA by PB into MB by MA power 1 by 2. So for the question number 41, third option is correct. Question number 41, correct option is third. Third option is correct. Next, problem number 42. Look at the problem number 42. A gas diffuses 1/5 times as fast as hydrogen. Its molecular weight is. So, unknown gas is given. So rate of diffusion is R by 5. So 1/5 the rate of diffusion of hydrogen. So the rate of diffusion of hydrogen labeling as R. The rate of diffusion of hydrogen gas is R. And the rate of diffusion of unknown gas. The rate of diffusion of unknown gas is 1/5 of hydrogen gas. 1/5 nothing but R by 5. 1/5 of hydrogen gas nothing but R by 5 we have to take. Then we have to find out the molar mass of this gas. So molar mass is we have to calculate. Then molar mass of hydrogen gas already we know very well. So molar mass of hydrogen gas is 2 gram per mole. So the rate of diffusion formula R gas by rate of diffusion of hydrogen gas, that is equal to square root of molar mass of hydrogen gas by molar mass of gas, unknown gas. So already we know very well, R1 by R2 is equal to square root of M2 by M1. So this is the formula we have to use. Next, R gas, what we have to take? R by 5. R gas is nothing but R by 5 by rate of diffusion of hydrogen is nothing but what? R. So R by 5 by R is equal to molar mass of hydrogen gas is what? 2. So divided by molar mass of unknown gas. So from this we can take it as R by 5R. R by 5R, that is equal to square root of 2 by molar mass of gas. So R cancelled. Then 1 by 5. 1 by 5 is equal to square root of 2 by molar mass of unknown gas. So squaring on both sides, we will get 1 by 5 square. 1 by 5 square is equal to, we will get 2 by molar mass of unknown gas. So from this molar mass of unknown gas, molar mass of gas is equal to 5 square. So 5 square into 2, isn't it? That is equal to, so 25 into 2, that is equal to 50 gram per mole. So molar mass of unknown gas is equal to 50 gram per mole. So look at the question number 42. So 42 first option is 50. So for 42 question, first answer is correct. So 50 grams per mole. So 42 question, first answer is correct. Next question number 43. Look at the question number 43. Which of the following pairs will diffuse at the same rate through a porous plug? So according to Graham's law of diffusion, the rate of diffusion of a gas is inversely proportional to the square root of its molecular masses. That means the molecular mass increases, the rate of diffusion is decreases. So the lighter gases diffuse quickly than heavier gases. The lighter gases diffuse very quickly than heavier gases. So here what we have to find is in a given pair, which pair has the same molecular mass? So two gases must have a same molecular mass, so they have a same rate of diffusion. Let us check them. So first option I'm taking carbon monoxide and NO2, CO and the NO2. In this pair, carbon monoxide molecular mass, carbon is 12, oxygen is 16. So 16 plus 12, that is equal to molecular mass of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide is 28. So this is molecular mass is 28 gram per mole. Next, molecular mass of nitrogen dioxide. Here is nitrogen is 14. Oxygen is 16. Oxygen is 16 plus 16. Two oxygens is there, 32. So 32 plus 14, we will get 46. So molecular mass of nitrogen dioxide is 46 gram per mole. Both have different molecular masses. This is not correct option. Let us check the second option. If you look at the second option, NO2 and CO2. NO2 and the second one is CO2. In this pair already we know molecular mass of nitrogen dioxide is how much? 44 gram per mole. So this is 44 gram per mole. And carbon dioxide, carbon is 12. This O2 is 32. So 32 plus 12 will get 44. So this is 44 gram per mole. So here is this is 46. This is 46. So NO2 is 46. So carbon dioxide is 44. So do look at them. Both have different molecular masses. So they must have same molecular mass. Their only rate of diffusion will be same. Look at the third option. We have to verify all the options. Third option NH3 and pH3. So look at the third option. NH3 and the second one is pH3. So nitrogen is 14. Hydrogen is each hydrogen is 1. That means total is 3. So 14 plus 3, that is equal to 17. This is 17 gram per mole. Here is pH3. Phosphorus is 31. Phosphorus is 31. Molecular atomic mass is 31. Hydrogen is 3. The total is 31 plus 3, 34. 34 gram per mole. So look at here. Both of them have different molecular masses. So this is not correct option. So look at the fourth option. Fourth option, NO and C2H6. Fourth option we have NO. The second one is C2H6. So here is nitrogen is 14. Nitrogen is 14. Oxygen is 16. So 14 plus 16, that is equal to 30. 30 gram per mole. This is 30 gram per mole. Here is carbon is 12. 12 into 2, 24. 24 plus each item is 1, 6. So 24 plus 6, that is equal to how much? 30 gram per mole. So look at all these options. So in the D option, this pair has the same molecular masses, 30 gram per mole, 30 gram per mole. So molecular masses is same, then rate of diffusion also will be the same. So question number 43, correct option is fourth option. So fourth option is correct because they have same molecular masses. So for the question, fourth option is correct. Next question number 44. Look at the question number 44. If three unreactive gases having partial pressures Pa, Pb and Pc and their moles are 1, 2 and 3 respectively, then the total pressure will be. So according to Dalton's law of partial pressure, the total pressure P total, the total pressure of a non-reactive mixture of gases P total is equal to sum of the partial pressures we have taken. The partial pressure of A gas plus partial pressure of B gas plus partial pressure of C gas. The total pressure is equal to sum of the partial pressures of gases we have to take. Sum of the partial pressures of individual gases. So partial pressure of A gas is Pa, partial pressure of B gas is Pb, and the partial pressure of C gas is Pc. And these are the sum of the partial pressures is equal to total pressure. So according to Dalton's law of partial pressure, this is the option we have to take. So what we look at the options. So first option, P is equal to Pa plus Pb plus Pc. So for question number 44, first option is correct according to Dalton's law of partial pressures. Next question number 45. Look at the question number 45. The apparatus shown consists of 3 bulbs connected by a stopcock of negligible volume. The temperature is constant. When all the stopcocks are opened, the pressure in the bulb B will be, and some more data is given. In the bulb A, carbon dioxide gas is filled. Its pressure is 2.13 atmosphere and its volume is 1.5 liters. Next, in bulb B, hydrogen gas is filled. Its pressure is 0.861 atmosphere and its volume is 1 liter. And in bulb C, argon gas is filled. Its pressure is 1.15 atmosphere and its volume is 2 liters. Then, when all these stopcocks are open, this stopcock is open and this stopcock also is open. When all the stopcocks are opened, the pressure in the bulb B will be, we have to calculate. Next, one more data is given. Temperature is a constant. So here is T is equal to constant. Temperature is a constant. So temperature is constant. Here is a pressure and volume relationships is there. So we can use Boyle's law. So according to Boyle's law, so volume is inversely proportional to pressure. PV is equal to constant. In two different cases we can take P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. Here I am taking P initial pressure and VI initial volume, and that is equal to P final pressure and into V final volume. PI initial pressure and VI initial volume is equal to PF final pressure into VF final volume. So this is the formula we can use. And there are three different gases. You can first A gas. So finding for the final pressure for A gas. So for carbon dioxide. So for carbon dioxide, what is the formula we have to use? It is final pressure we have to find out. The final pressure of carbon dioxide is equal to P initial V initial by final volume. Then that is equal to initial pressure. How much is given? Initial pressure is given 2.13 atmosphere. That is 2.13 atmospheres into initial volume is given how much? 1.5 liters. 1.5 liters. Isn't it? By 1.5 liters by. So final volume. So whenever the stopcock is opened, we have to take so VA plus VB plus VC as a final volume. So we have to find out final volume. So V final, that is equal to volume of A. So VA plus volume of B case, volume of B cylinder, B bulb, sorry. VB plus volume of third bulb C. That is equal to this VA, how much is given? 1.5 liters. This is 1.5 liters plus VB, how much is given? 1 liter plus VC, how much? 2 liters. Isn't it? The total is equal to 1.5 plus 1 plus, that is equal to 4.5 liters. So this is V final. So V final is equal to 4.5 liters because all the bulbs is all the stopcocks is opened. Then V final is equal to 4.5 liters. Isn't it? So final pressure. The final pressure of carbon dioxide gas is equal to how much you get? 2.13 into 1.5 by 4.5. You will get 0.71 atmospheres. So this is the pressure of CO. Next we have two remaining two is there. The second one is pressure of hydrogen. For hydrogen, second bulb what we have is hydrogen. For hydrogen. So for hydrogen, same formula we have used. PI is equal to P final volume final. Isn't same formula we will use apply for carbon dioxide, hydrogen as well as argon. So PIV is equal to PF. Then PF is equal to PIVI by VF. That is equal to PI, how much is given? 0.861. This is 0.861 into VI, how much? 1 liter. Initial volume is 1 liter. Next final volume already know is 4.5. This is 4.5. So upon simplification, 0.861 into 1 divided by 4.5, you will get 0.191. 0.191. So this is a P final of hydrogen. Next third we already have is argon. For argon case. Then argon case, the same formula we have to use PIVI is equal to PFVF. Isn't it? Then we have to take P final. P final is equal to PIVI by VF. Initial is given how much? 1.15 atmospheres. This is a 1.15 atmospheres into volume is given how much? 2. VC is equal how much is given? 2. By final volume already we know this is 4.5. 4.5. So that is equal to 1.5 into 2 by 4.5. That is equal to, we will get 0.511. So he will get 0.511. This is P final. So we got P final for carbon dioxide is 0.71 and for hydrogen is 0.191, for argon is 0.511. Next, we have to take Dalton's law of partial pressure. So P total pressure is equal to, the total pressure is equal to pressure of A bulb, because of carbon dioxide gas. So pressure of A plus pressure of B plus pressure of C. So here the total pressure is equal to pressure of A plus B plus C. Then that is equal to PA. How much we got? 0.71 plus pressure of B. How much we got? 0.191 plus pressure of C. How much we got? 0.511. So P total is equal to 0.7 plus 0.191 plus 0.511. So upon simplification we get P total is equal to 1.4 atmospheres. So this is the total pressure. So here is all the stopcocks are opened. The total pressure in the thermometer can take as pressure of bulb, pressure of the gas in the bulb B. So the total pressure is equal to, what we have to calculate is when all the stopcocks are opened, the pressure in the bulb B will be equal to total pressure. When all the stopcocks is opened, then the pressure in the bulb B will be equal to total pressure. The total pressure in the thermometer, pressure in the bulb B, I can take any. So here is P total is equal to 1.4 atmosphere. This is the total pressure. So the same problem we can solve in another way. So how do you solve this problem is instead of taking this long procedure, in a short way you can solve the problem. So P total, V total is equal to, when the stopcocks are open, we can take the total volume. So P total, V total is equal to, is PA VA. So PA VA plus PB VB plus PC VC, isn't it? Then that is equal to PA. How much we got? PA is 2.13. So 2.13 into 1.5. VA is equal to 1.5 plus. Next to PB/VB 0.861 into 1 plus. Next to PC, how much we got? 1.15 into 2, isn't it? Then P total. This is P total into V total already we calculated. So where the V total we calculated? V final nothing but V total. So V final nothing but V total. How much we got? 4.5. This is 4.5. Then P total is equal to 2.13 into 1.5 plus 0.861 into 1 plus 1.15 into 2 by 4.5. So upon simplification of this equation, this values will get P total is equal to 1.4 atmospheres. So this is the simplest way to solve this problem. This is a long procedure. This is the simplest way to solve this problem. This is the short method to get the answer. So here is the pressure of the gas in the bulb is equal to, we can take the total pressure. Look at the options. So the first option 1.41 atmospheres, second option 0.861 atm, third option 1.38 atm, fourth one is 1.18 atm. So for the problem number 45, correct option is 1.41 atmosphere. I wrote 1.41 approximately, you can take 1.4 or 1.41. So for the 40th question, correct answer is first option, 1.4 atmospheres. Next question number 46. Look at the question number 46. Dalton's law of partial pressure cannot be applied to the following pairs of gases when they are mixed. So according to Dalton's law of partial pressure, the total pressure exerted by a mixture of non-reactive gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of individual gases present in a mixture of gases. So what is the statement meaning is the P total. Already we know very well that total pressure is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of individual gases present in a mixture. So leaving there are three gases is there, P1 plus P2 plus P3. So this is the Dalton's law of partial pressure. Here an important point is these gases, what is the gases we are mixing? The gases must be non-reactive. They must be non-reactive gases. This is the key point here to solve this question. So this is the key point here. So what is the gases we are mixing? Those gases must be do not react. They must be non-reactive gases. So look at the options, pairs. H2 and water. When H2O is mixed at normal temperatures and pressures, they cannot react. H2O2 cannot react with the ordinary temperatures and pressures. Take second option, H2 and N2. H2 and N2 also do not react at ordinary temperatures and pressures. You can take CO2 and O2. CO2O2 cannot react. In atmosphere, CO2O2 they are not reacting. So this is also not option. Look at the fourth option, NH3 and hydrochloric acid. I am taking NH3, ammonia plus hydrochloric acid. So ammonia react with hydrochloric acid to form ammonium chloride. To form ammonium chloride. The product is ammonium chloride is formed. Here is ammonia react with hydrochloric acid to form ammonium chloride. So according to Dalton's law of partial pressure, the gases should not react. So when the gases are reacted, Dalton's law of partial pressure is not applicable. So in this case, the Dalton's law of partial pressure are not applicable because they are reactive gases. Ammonia reacting with hydrochloric acid to forming ammonium chloride. So for this case, look at the options 43. Sorry, question number 46. Correct option is fourth option. Fourth option. First option, second option, third option, pairs of gases do not react. The fourth option gases they are reacting. So Dalton's law of partial pressure is applicable to mixture of non-reactive gases, but not to the reactive gases. So question number 46. Correct option is fourth option. Next, question number 47. Look at the question number 47. A gas mixture contains oxygen and nitrogen in 1:2 mole ratio. Ratio of the partial pressures of nitrogen and oxygen in the mixture is. So according to Dalton's law of partial pressure, the partial pressure of ith gas formula mole fraction of ith gas into P total. So this is the formula we have to use. This is the general formula we have to use to calculate the partial pressure of ith gas. The partial pressure of ith gas is equal to mole fraction of ith gas into P total. Here two gases is given. First I am taking nitrogen. The partial pressure of nitrogen. Partial pressure of nitrogen is equal to, in the place of ith gas I took nitrogen. The partial pressure of nitrogen is equal to mole fraction of nitrogen into P total. Next, second gas, oxygen is given. Partial pressure of oxygen. In the place of ith gas, the second case I am taking oxygen. So partial pressure of oxygen is equal to mole fraction of oxygen into P total. Mole fraction of oxygen into P total. Next, what is the data is given is a gas mixture contains oxygen and nitrogen in 1:2 mole ratio. Here is oxygen is 1 mole and nitrogen is 2 moles. The mole ratio is 1:2. Number of moles of oxygen, how much is given? 1 mole. And number of moles of nitrogen is given how much? 2 moles. The ratio is number of moles of oxygen by number of moles of nitrogen is equal to 1/2. The ratio is 1:2. Next, what we have to calculate is partial pressures of, we have to find out the ratio of partial pressures of nitrogen and oxygen in the mixture. So we have to find out the ratio. So I am taking first partial pressure of nitrogen by partial pressure of oxygen. I am taking the partial pressure of nitrogen and partial pressure of oxygen. That is equal to what we have is mole fraction of nitrogen into P total. Mole fraction of nitrogen into P total by mole fraction of oxygen into P total. Isn't it? So mole fraction of nitrogen into P total by mole fraction of oxygen into P total. So we know very well that the mole fraction formula, mole fraction of nitrogen from the number of moles of nitrogen by total number of moles of the gases. So what is the total number of moles? Number of moles of nitrogen plus number of moles of oxygen. So this is the mole fraction of formula for nitrogen. Then mole fraction of nitrogen Number of moles of nitrogen how much is given? 2. Then 2 by number of moles of nitrogen how much? 1. So number of moles of nitrogen is 2. So 2 by 2 plus number of moles of oxygen is how much? 1. So 1. That is equal to 2 by 3. So mole fraction of nitrogen is equal to 2 by 3. This is the mole fraction of nitrogen. Next we have to find out the mole fraction of even oxygen also. Mole fraction of oxygen. What is the formula for mole fraction of oxygen? Mole fraction of oxygen is equal to number of moles of oxygen by number of moles of nitrogen plus number of moles of oxygen. So mole fraction is equal to number of moles of one component by total number of moles of all the components. Here also I do the same formula. Number of moles of one component by total number of moles of all the components. So that is equal to number of moles of oxygen how much is given? 1. So here is 1 by total number of moles. 1 plus this is 2 plus number of moles of oxygen is 1. That is equal to 1 by 3. So mole fraction of oxygen is equal to 1 by 3. So substitute these values in the given formula. Then partial pressure of nitrogen by partial pressure of oxygen, isn't it? So partial pressure of nitrogen by partial pressure of oxygen is equal to mole fraction of nitrogen. What we got? 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 into P total. 2 by 3 into P total by mole fraction of oxygen. How much we got? 1 by 3. 1 by 3 into P total, isn't it? Then so P total get cancelled. Then partial pressure of nitrogen by partial pressure of oxygen. So partial pressure of nitrogen, partial pressure of oxygen is equal to how much we get? So 2 by 1. That is equal to simplest ratio what we can take up. 2 is to 1. The ratio is 2 is to 1. So the ratio of partial pressures of nitrogen and oxygen in the mixture is 2 is to 1. So for the question number 47, the correct option is second. Second option is the correct. So for question number 47, second option is correct. 2 is to 1. Next question number 48. Look at the question number 48. Which of the following gas cannot be collected over water during its preparation? So first option oxygen, second option is nitrogen, third option is hydrogen, and the fourth option is hydrogen chloride. So for the 40th question, correct answer is hydrogen chloride, because hydrogen chloride is highly soluble in water. Hydrogen chloride is highly soluble in water. Because of the high solubility of hydrogen chloride in water, the hydrogen chloride cannot be collected over the water during its preparation. So even oxygen also is soluble in water, but here is hydrogen chloride is highly soluble. Because of its high solubility, the hydrogen chloride is cannot be collected over the water during its preparation. So for the 40th question answer, hydrogen chloride, HCl. So HCl is the correct option. And look at the question number 49. Look at the question number 49. Aqueous tension is very high at aqueous tension. Aqueous tension. What is the meaning of aqueous tension? So generally gases are collected over the water, so that they are moist. So gases are moist. So the gases consist some amount of water. So the water also exerts pressure. So the moist gas consists water vapor in addition to the dry gas. Then according to Dalton's law of partial pressure of moist gas. The pressure of moist gas is equal to the pressure of dry gas. Pressure of dry gas plus it consists of water vapor. So pressure of water vapor. I think at what time it is. So when the gas is collected over the water, some water vapor also present in the gas. So present that gas we nothing but moist gas, wet gas. But moist gas consists of dry gas and some water vapor. So the pressure exerted by this water vapor, the pressure exerted by the water vapor is called as aqueous tension. Aqueous tension. So this is the total pressure according to Dalton's law of partial pressure. According to Dalton's law of partial pressure, the pressure of moist gas is equal to pressure of dry gas plus pressure of water vapor. So the pressure exerted by the water vapor is called as aqueous tension. We can write in other ways pressure of moist gas. Pressure of moist gas is equal to pressure of dry gas plus directly we can write aqueous tension. You can write aqueous tension. You can use directly this one also. Aqueous tension. So here aqueous tension depends upon the temperature. Aqueous tension depends upon the temperature. Temperature increases, so aqueous tension is increases. So the temperature of water increases, aqueous tension also is going to get increases. So what is the statement is aqueous tension is directly proportional to aqueous tension is directly proportional to temperature of water. Temperature of water. So temperature of water increases, so aqueous tension is going to get increases. Look at the options. So question number 49. So 25, first option 25 degrees centigrade, second option is 40 degrees centigrade, third option is 100 degrees centigrade, and the fourth option is 30 degrees centigrade. So what is the statement here? Aqueous tension increases, aqueous tension is directly proportional to the temperature of water. Temperature is rises, aqueous tension is increases. So 49 correct option is 100 degrees centigrade. Among the given options, 100 degrees centigrade is the highest temperature, so that aqueous tension is very high at 100 degrees centigrade according to this statement. So question number 49, third option is correct. And question number 50. Next question number 50. Look at the question number 50. Dalton's law of partial pressure will not apply to the which of the following mixture of gases. So according to Dalton's law of partial pressure, the total pressure exerted by a mixture of non-reactive gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of individual gases present in the mixture. So the point is the gases should not react. According to Dalton's law of partial pressure, the gases should not react. So among the given options, which gas should not react? That we can apply the Dalton's law of partial pressure. Which gas will react? For that case, we cannot apply the Dalton's law of partial pressure. So look at Dalton's law of partial pressure will not apply to the which of the following mixture? H2 and SO2. H2 SO2 cannot react. H2 and Cl2. So hydrogen H2 plus Cl2 gives rise to 2HCl. So they are reactive gas. Hydrogen and chlorine react to form hydrogen chloride. H2CO2 cannot react. CO2 and Cl2 cannot react. In a given option, so H2 and Cl2. Second option, these two gases will react. Because of the reacting of these two gases, the Dalton's law of partial pressure is not applicable. Dalton's law of partial pressure is applicable when the gases are non-reactive. But these two gases are reactive. Because of its reactive nature, the Dalton's law of partial pressure is not applicable to the mixture of H2 and Cl2. So here question number 50, the correct option is second option, H2 and Cl2. Question number 50, the correct option is second option.